Sister wives, Kody and Robyn are broke and homeless. Kody can't afford to support Robyn's daughters Aurora and Brianna. Hello friends, welcome to the Daily Gossip News Update. I'm Olivia, and I hope you're well by God's grace. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. It was a crisp autumn morning in Flagstaff when word began to spread like wildfire among the tight-knit circles of Sister Wives fans. Kody Brown and Robyn Brown had officially hit rock bottom. After years of strained finances, bitter separations, and fractured family ties, Kody and Robyn were not only broke, they were also homeless. Neighbors claimed they saw the couple and Robyn's two daughters, Aurora and Brianna, carrying suitcases into a worn-out SUV, tears streaming down Robyn's cheeks as Kody barked orders. A moving truck sat outside their once proud home, its back doors yawning open to reveal the remnants of their life. A tarnished wedding dress, piles of books about plural marriage, broken children's toys, and boxes labeled dreams. But how did it come to this? How did the once confident patriarch of a sprawling polygamous family, who boasted 4 wives and over a dozen children, wind up penniless and unable to support the very children he once claimed were his divine responsibility? The answer lies in years of arrogance, denial, and misplaced priorities, and in a series of decisions that pushed Kody and Robyn toward the brink of financial ruin. The rise and fall of a patriarch. When Sister Wives debuted in 2010, Kody Brown was the image of confidence, charming, brash, and proud of his unconventional family. The show painted him as the charismatic leader of a plural family living their truth despite societal judgment. But behind the cameras, things were never as harmonious as they seemed. Kody's favoritism toward his 4th wife, Robyn, was evident from the start. She was younger, glamorous in a way that appealed to him, and more emotionally dependent than his other wives. Kody doted on her and her 3 children, 2 daughters, Aurora and Brianna, and a son, Dayton, from a previous marriage, adopting them as his own. At first, TLC money and book deals kept the family afloat. Kody believed the show would last forever and that his fame would somehow shield him from financial hardship. He invested in lavish homes and expensive land in Flagstaff, even as the rest of the family grew increasingly frustrated with his spending habits. Then, one by one, his other wives began leaving him. Christine walked away first, exhausted by his favoritism and neglect. Janelle followed, prioritizing her own financial independence over Kody's crumbling authority. Even Mary, who had once been his most loyal supporter, finally walked away, leaving Robyn as the last wife standing. With no wives left to help shoulder the burden, emotional or financial, Kody found himself alone with Robyn and her children, his once grand dreams reduced to rubble. The financial collapse. By the time Christine, Janelle, and Mary officially left, the family's finances were already a mess. Robyn's house was the most expensive of them all, a sprawling property that consumed a massive chunk of their monthly income. Kody refused to downsize, insisting it was God's will to keep Robyn comfortable and that the ex-wives were simply being ungrateful. But the math never added up. Child support obligations for his younger biological children, mounting property taxes, legal fees from the messy divorces, and dwindling Sister Wives ratings combined into a perfect storm. TLC reportedly cut their payments after ratings declined in the later seasons, and Kody failed to secure new business ventures. Then came the final blow, the Coyote Pass land dispute. The property he purchased with the intention of building homes for the family became a symbol of his failure. Unpaid taxes and a stalled construction plan turned it into a liability instead of an asset. By 2025, the writing was on the wall. Kody and Robyn quietly put their home on the market, but the value had dropped significantly. The sale barely covered their debts, and they were left with nowhere to go. Homeless in Flagstaff. On a gray November afternoon, a neighbor reportedly spotted Robyn sitting on the curb outside their house, clutching Aurora's hand and sobbing uncontrollably. Kody stood nearby, visibly angry, on the phone with what sounded like a realtor or attorney. "They're kicking us out, Robyn. We have to go now," he shouted, his voice carrying across the street. The girls, Aurora and Brianna, stood motionless, their faces pale, watching as their belongings were loaded into a small U-Haul. Robyn's once pristine makeup was smeared with tears. "Where will we go?" she pleaded. Kody didn't have an answer. Witnesses say they drove away without telling anyone where they were headed, leaving behind an empty house and a stack of unpaid bills. Robyn's daughters caught in the crossfire. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this story is how it affected Robyn's daughters. Aurora and Brianna had been told for years that Kody was their protector, the father who adopted them, loved them, and would never let them fall. But as reality set in, the girls reportedly started asking uncomfortable questions. "Why can't you pay the bills, Dad?" Aurora allegedly demanded during one heated argument. Brianna, usually quiet and reserved, reportedly told Robyn, "I don't feel safe anymore." For years, these girls watched Kody lavish attention on Robyn while ignoring his other children. But now they were learning what Christine's, Janelle's, and even Mary's kids already knew. Kody's love came with strings attached, and his promises often fell flat. Friends of the family claimed that Kody even suggested sending Aurora and Brianna to live with their biological father, David Jessup, temporarily, a suggestion that reportedly sent Robyn into a hysterical rage. "How could you even say that?" she allegedly screamed. "You're their father. You adopted them." But Kody's response was cold. "I can't afford them anymore." The fallout. Word of Kody and Robyn's predicament quickly made its way back to his ex-wives and children. Christine, now happily remarried to David Woolley, was reportedly sympathetic but firm. "They made their choices," she told a mutual friend. "I can't bail him out anymore." Janelle, who had always been the most financially savvy of the wives, was reportedly furious. "He's the reason we're all in this mess," she said. "He needs to figure it out without dragging everyone else down." Even Mary, who once clung to Kody despite years of rejection, reportedly told friends, "I feel bad for the kids, but not for him. He dug his own grave." Kody's desperation. According to those close to him, Kody made several desperate attempts to turn his situation around. First, he tried to convince TLC to film a special episode about their struggles, hoping to cash in on the sympathy of viewers. But producers reportedly declined, citing dwindling interest. Then he tried to sell personal items, his beloved sports car, his collection of rare books, and even Robyn's wedding ring, to raise money. Finally, he made one last plea to his ex-wives. In a dramatic scene at Christine's new home, Kody reportedly showed up unannounced with Robyn and the girls in tow, begging for help. Christine, visibly uncomfortable, reportedly told him, "You made your choice, Kody. You chose Robyn over all of us. I can't fix this for you." Life on the road. With nowhere to go and no money left, Kody and Robyn reportedly began living out of their SUV, parking in quiet lots overnight and showering at truck stops. A former neighbor claimed to have seen them sleeping in the vehicle at a rest area outside Flagstaff, with blankets taped over the windows for privacy. Robyn reportedly refused to let the girls sleep on the ground, insisting they stay in the car even when it got unbearably hot or cold. "They looked broken," the neighbor recalled. "Not the confident couple you saw on TV. Just two people who didn't know what to do anymore." The public reaction. When news of their homelessness hit social media, fans of sister wives were divided. Some expressed sympathy for Robyn's daughters, who had no say in the decisions that led to their predicament. Others were more critical, arguing that Kody and Robyn's arrogance and selfishness were to blame. Comments flooded online forums. "This is karma. He abandoned his kids for Robyn, and now even Robyn can't save him. I feel terrible for the girls. They didn't ask for this. Maybe now he understands what it feels like to be left out in the cold." Despite everything, there are whispers that Kody and Robyn are considering moving to a smaller town where the cost of living is lower, possibly in Utah or Wyoming. Some say they are exploring renting a modest apartment, far from the luxury they once demanded. There are also rumors that Robyn has started looking for work, determined to help support her daughters despite her fragile emotional state. As for Kody, he remains defiant, telling anyone who will listen that this is just a temporary setback. If there's one lesson to take from this saga, It's that no amount of charm or camera time can save you from the consequences of your choices. Kody Brown, who once stood at the helm of a sprawling family and basked in reality TV fame, now faces the hardest chapter of his life, broke, homeless, and struggling to support the children he once claimed were his highest priority. And as he sits in the driver's seat of that battered SUV, staring at the horizon with Robyn silently crying beside him and Aurora and Brianna trying to sleep in the back, one is to wonder if he finally understands what his other children and wives have felt for years, alone, neglected, and left to fend for themselves. In the end, Kody Brown's story is a cautionary tale about pride, favoritism, and the illusion of control. It's about how even the strongest foundations can crumble when built on sand instead of stone. As of now, their future remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the road ahead for Kody, Robyn, and her daughters will be long, difficult, and very different from the glamorous life they once flaunted on national television. Sister wives Janelle and Mary serve Kody Brown with legal notice over property division, the final showdown. The calm before the storm. For years, the sprawling Brown family of sister wives navigated the tricky dynamics of plural marriage under the watchful eye of the public. Kody Brown, the family patriarch, proudly claimed he could balance the needs, desires, and dreams of 4 wives and a large brood of children. But over time, cracks began to appear, first with Christine's departure, then with Janelle and Mary distancing themselves emotionally, and finally, the reality of broken trust and financial betrayal hit them all like a thunderclap. The final blow came when Janelle and Mary took the battle to the courts, serving Kody with legal notice over the division of the family's property, including the controversial Coyote Pass land. It was a crisp morning in Flagstaff when Kody opened his front door to find a process server standing there. With a stern expression, the server handed him an envelope stamped with the unmistakable words: a legal notice. Property division claim. Plaintiffs: Janelle Brown and Mary Brown. Kody stood frozen, the envelope trembling in his hand as Robyn peeked from behind him, her face pale and stricken. The dispute had been simmering for years. When Kody moved his family to Flagstaff, he convinced the wives to sell their homes in Las Vegas to purchase land at Coyote Pass. He promised each wife her own parcel of land and a future dream home, all while insisting that it was a shared investment. But the land sat undeveloped for years, the plans growing more expensive and impractical. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn purchased an expensive house that devoured much of the family's financial resources. Janelle, ever pragmatic, had invested most of her savings into her portion of Coyote Pass and lived in a small rental while waiting for Kody to deliver on his promises. Mary also held a financial stake in the property, despite being estranged from Kody and living much of her life independently in her Utah bed and breakfast. When it became clear that Kody and Robyn were not prioritizing the construction of homes for the other wives, and when property taxes started piling up, Janelle and Mary decided they could no longer trust Kody to fairly divide the property. The legal notice was the culmination of months of frustration and back-and-forth arguments between Kody and his ex-wives. The document outlined the following claims: that Janelle and Mary had contributed significantly to the down payment and taxes on Coyote Pass, that Kody had diverted family funds to cover his and Robyn's personal expenses without their consent, that Kody had failed to honor verbal and written agreements to divide the property equitably. The notice gave Kody 30 days to respond, either by agreeing to an equitable division or facing formal litigation. Kody's reaction. When Kody read the document, he erupted in anger. "This is betrayal," he shouted, throwing the papers onto the kitchen table as Robyn sat silently. "After everything I've done for them, they come after me like this? Like I'm some stranger?" According to sources close to the family, Kody spent hours pacing the house, calling his lawyer, and sending furious texts to Janelle and Mary. In one particularly heated voicemail to Janelle, he reportedly said, "You're destroying this family for money. You've let greed poison your mind. I built that land for all of us, and now you want to tear it apart." But Janelle's response was curt.
"No, Kody.
You tore this family apart. Now it's time to make things right." Janelle's resolve. Janelle had always been the practical one, the steady hand in the storm. But years of being overlooked and dismissed by Kody had hardened her. She watched him funnel money into Robyn's house while she lived in an RV on the property just to save money. She watched him promise progress that never came, leaving her and her children in limbo. In an emotional conversation with her children, she reportedly said, "I've waited long enough. I've believed his promises. But I have to protect what's mine, what I worked for. He won't give it to me willingly, so now he has no choice." For Mary, the decision to join Janelle in filing the claim was not easy, but it was necessary. For decades, she had clung to the idea that loyalty to Kody was her duty, even as he publicly humiliated her and moved on emotionally. But the property dispute opened her eyes. In private conversations, she confessed, "I thought I didn't care anymore. But then I realized, he's using my money, my sacrifices, to build a life with Robyn, while leaving me with nothing. No more." Her decision shocked even her closest friends, who had grown used to her quiet acceptance of Kody's neglect. But this time, Mary was determined to stand up for herself. Robyn's breakdown. While Kody raged and plotted, Robyn reportedly fell into despair. Neighbors claimed she was seen crying on the porch, talking to her mother on the phone and saying, "Why are they doing this to us? Why do they hate me so much? We're a family, this isn't right." But others argued that Robyn's tears were not for the family but for herself, and for the possibility of losing the house and lifestyle she had grown accustomed to. Some fans speculated that Robyn feared the property division would force them to sell her beloved home to pay off the others, leaving her without the security she fought so hard to maintain. The rest of the Brown children had mixed reactions. Christine, now remarried and living happily with David Woolley, reportedly supported Janelle and Mary, telling them, "Good for you. Don't let him walk all over you like he did me." Garrison and Gabriel, Janelle's sons, were also firmly in her corner. Gabriel allegedly told friends, Kody, forgot about us a long time ago. He deserves to answer for what he did." Others, like some of Robyn's children, were more sympathetic to Kody and expressed dismay that the family drama had escalated so far. Instead of immediately heading to court, the parties agreed to attempt mediation first. The meeting reportedly took place at a Flagstaff attorney's office, with Janelle, Mary, and their respective lawyers on one side of a long oak table and Kody and his lawyer on the other. Kody entered the room with his trademark swagger, but those present said his confidence quickly faltered when confronted with spreadsheets, tax records, and evidence of his questionable financial decisions. Janelle spoke calmly but firmly, reportedly saying, "We're not here to fight for scraps. We're here to get what's ours, what we earned. You can agree now, or the judge can decide for you." Mary nodded in quiet agreement. Kody, red-faced and visibly agitated, accused them of trying to destroy what's left of the family. But the mediator reminded him that the session was about property, not feelings. After hours of tense negotiations, Kody's lawyer presented a settlement offer. Janelle would receive a cash payout equivalent to the value of her share in Coyote Pass, plus reimbursement for her tax contributions. Mary would receive ownership of a smaller parcel of land and a portion of funds from the eventual sale of another lot. Kody and Robyn would retain ownership of their home, but would be responsible for all remaining property taxes and debts. Janelle and Mary took the offer under advisement, agreeing to review it with their lawyers before signing anything. News of the legal notice and mediation leaked to the press within days, sparking heated discussions among fans and critics alike. Social media lit up with opinions. Good for Janelle and Mary. About time they stood up for themselves. Kody brought this on himself by favoring Robyn for years. This is so sad for the kids. They're the real victims here. Even tabloids ran sensational headlines like, "Sister Wives War. Janelle and Mary take Kody to court over millions." Kody, never one to shy away from the spotlight, reportedly called the leaks lies and accused his ex-wives of trying to tarnish his reputation. As of now, the legal proceedings are ongoing. Janelle and Mary have signaled that they are prepared to go all the way to court if necessary, but sources say there's still hope for a negotiated settlement. For Kody, The situation is dire. His finances are stretched thin, his public image is tarnished, and his control over the family is slipping further away every day. For Janelle and Mary, this is more than just a fight for property. It's a fight for dignity, for justice, and for closure. The Brown family's journey has always been about more than just polygamy. It's been about the human struggle for love, acceptance, and fairness in a world that often denies those things. Janelle and Mary's decision to serve Kody with legal notice marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter where they reclaim their independence and demand what's rightfully theirs. In the words of one family friend, for years, they sacrificed everything for him. Now, they're taking it back. As the sun sets over Coyote Pass, the future remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the battle for justice has begun. Sister wives, Janelle and Mary expose Robyn's conspiracy, how everything went haywire after her entrance. The calm before the storm. For decades, the Brown family of sister wives presented an image of plural marriage that was at least outwardly functional and loving. Kody Brown, the self-proclaimed head of the family, juggled his responsibilities among 4 wives and their many children, claiming that their faith and shared vision held them together. But behind closed doors, cracks began to form the moment Robyn entered the family. For years, whispers swirled about favoritism, manipulation, and quiet power struggles. But it wasn't until recently that Janelle and Mary finally spoke out about what they called Robyn's conspiracy, revealing how everything went haywire after she arrived. In a shocking tell-all interview, the 2 former wives opened up about what really happened when Robyn joined the family and how it ultimately tore them apart. Robyn's arrival. In the beginning, Robyn seemed like a blessing. Kody met her while still married to Mary, Janelle, and Christine, and quickly fell head over heels. At first, the other wives welcomed her as a new sister and friend. Mary, who reportedly encouraged Kody to pursue Robyn, said in the interview, "At that time, I thought she'd bring fresh energy. I thought she'd fit in and strengthen us. I was wrong." Janelle, more reserved, admitted she had misgivings from the start. Something felt off. She played the victim a lot. She'd cry and say she was scared of being the outsider, but then she'd quietly work her way into Kody's favor at everyone else's expense. Robyn's courtship and subsequent marriage to Kody seemed to shift the family dynamic almost overnight. The seeds of division. Once married, Robyn quickly became Kody's favorite, something that didn't go unnoticed. Janelle recounted moments when Kody would spend days at Robyn's house, ignoring the other wives. "It wasn't just the time," Janelle said. "It was the energy. The way he smiled around her. The way he dismissed us when we asked for help. It was clear we didn't matter anymore." Mary, who had long struggled to maintain a connection with Kody, described how Robyn seemed to weaponize her emotions to draw Kody closer. "If I asked for anything, I was being difficult. If Robyn cried, she got whatever she wanted," Mary said. She'd tell Kody she felt unsafe or that we didn't like her, and he'd immediately take her side. The financial conspiracy. But the most shocking revelation from Janelle and Mary centered around money. According to Janelle, Robyn persuaded Kody to put family resources toward buying her an expensive home while the rest of them made do with rentals or RVs. "I invested in Coyote Pass thinking we'd all get homes," Janelle said. But when it came time to build, there was always a reason to delay. Meanwhile, Kody bought Robyn that huge house. And then we found out she was also funneling money into her own business without telling anyone. Mary nodded in agreement, adding, "She'd cry about how hard her life was, and Kody would open the checkbook. Meanwhile, I was told there wasn't enough money for me to even fix my roof." Documents later revealed that Robyn's name appeared on several financial accounts that the other wives didn't know about, accounts funded by family earnings from the show and book deals. Manipulating Kody. Beyond money, Janelle and Mary accused Robyn of manipulating Kody emotionally. They described how Robyn would isolate him from the rest of the family, feeding him stories about how she felt attacked or mistreated. "She painted herself as the only one who really cared about him," Janelle said. "And he believed it. He started seeing us as the enemy, his own wives and kids." Mary described being blindsided when Kody accused her of being unkind to Robyn. "I thought we were fine," she said. Then one day, he came to me, angry, saying Robyn told him I hated her. It wasn't true, but he didn't care. From that moment on, he treated me like I was expendable. The breaking point. For years, Janelle and Mary endured the growing favoritism and isolation, but the breaking point came when Robyn pushed Kody to formally adopt her children from her previous marriage, a move that legally and financially bound him to her in ways he wasn't with his own biological children from the other wives. "That's when I realized," Janelle said. "She wasn't just trying to fit in. She was securing her future, at all of our expense." Mary echoed this sentiment. She got him to legally marry her, adopt her kids, and buy her a house. Meanwhile, my own child couldn't get tuition money because we couldn't afford it. It was clear where his priorities were. Christine leaves. The first major casualty of the Robyn era was Christine. According to Janelle and Mary, Christine had endured years of being sidelined, but it was Robyn's influence that finally pushed her to leave. She, Christine, saw what we all saw, Janelle said. She was just the first to say enough. Christine's departure didn't just fracture the family, it emboldened Janelle and Mary to start questioning their own places in the family as well. After Christine left, things only got worse. Kody grew even more defensive of Robyn, blaming the other wives for the family's unraveling. Janelle described one particularly explosive argument. He yelled that we were jealous, that we didn't support him and Robyn. I told him, "No, we just want you to treat us all like we matter." But he couldn't hear it. He just stormed off straight to her house. Mary, who had long accepted her marginalization, finally began to see the situation clearly. "For years I thought if I just tried harder, he'd love me again. But then I realized he didn't even see me anymore. All he saw was her." Robyn's isolation tactics. Both women claimed that Robyn actively worked to keep them isolated from Kody and from each other. "She'd tell Kody things we supposedly said about him," Janelle said. "Things we never actually said. Then she'd tell us things he supposedly said about us. She kept everyone angry and mistrustful, except toward her." Mary added, "We stopped talking to each other because of her. It was all designed to make her the only person he trusted." The children see through it. The Brown children, too, reportedly began to notice Robyn's influence. Janelle's sons Garrison and Gabriel openly clashed with Kody over his treatment of their mother, accusing him of abandoning his other kids for Robyn's family. "Even the kids knew what was happening," Janelle said. "They'd ask me, 'Why does Dad only care about Robyn?' And I didn't have an answer." Mary and Janelle speak out. After years of silence, Janelle and Mary decided to finally confront the truth, first privately, then publicly. In their interview, they made it clear. "This isn't just about hurt feelings," Janelle said. "It's about a pattern of manipulation, favoritism, and betrayal that started the moment Robyn entered the family. I don't hate her. I pity her. But I can't ignore what she's done. She destroyed what we had, and she knew exactly what she was doing." When asked for comment, Kody dismissed their claims as bitterness and lies. "Robyn never manipulated me," he said. "She's the only one who stayed loyal. The rest of them let jealousy and resentment poison the family." Robyn herself declined to comment directly, but released a vague statement about healing and forgiveness. For Janelle and Mary, speaking out has been cathartic. Both are now living independent lives, free from Kody's shadow. "I don't regret leaving," Janelle said. "But I regret not seeing it sooner. Robyn didn't just marry Kody, she dismantled all of us to keep him for herself." Mary, now running her own business, echoed that sentiment. "I wasted years blaming myself. But the truth is, no matter what I did, I was never going to win against her. And now, I don't need to." The story of the Browns has always been one of hope and heartbreak, a family trying to defy convention but ultimately undone by human flaws. Janelle and Mary's revelations shed light on how power dynamics, favoritism, and quiet manipulation can unravel even the most determined families. As they move forward, they carry a message not of hatred, but of clarity. "We're not victims," Janelle said. "We're survivors. And we're free." And with that, the once strong foundation of the Brown family lies in ruins, not because of plural marriage itself, but because of how one woman and one man allowed ambition and desire to eclipse the love that once bound them all.